The trade negotiations between the U.S. and China pick up again at the beginning of 2019. So as trade talks are set to resume once again, we thought we would revisit our favorite debate of the year. Watch.
And I love Jonathan. We agree on most issues, but I don't understand why he and other conservatives love income taxes. They have a problem with tariffs.
So he's basically saying, hey, we need these taxes, higher taxes, and that's
we're going to have to raise income taxes, Jonathan. Do you want that? Income taxes are better.
No economist agrees with this. No member of the Federal Reserve.
The economist who got us in the mess that we're in. We have an $800 billion goods trade deficit, a $550 billion overall trade deficit. Don't tell no other major exporter in the G20.
That was, I think, August or September earlier this year. And look who we got here headed into the new year. Spieckerman Media President Lee Spieckerman and Capitalist Pig co-founder Jonathan HOENIG. You guys like Facebook friends now? You sharing the kids' pictures and everything? All good? Or we ready to go?
Ready as always.
Yeah, I mean, since the president called himself Tariff Man, market's down about 15%. I don't know, we were told that trade wars were good. They were easy to win. They've been anything but, Blake. So, I don't know.
We've been in a trade war for decades, Jonathan, and losing.
Lee can spin this. I don't know. Well,
that's
you're going to say, I know, you're going to say we've been losing money on trade. That's the fundamental issue here. The president believes that when you buy something from China, somehow you're losing, even though you pay for it in cash. What about
that argument, Lee? Let me jump in here. Lee, let me jump in here for a second. What about the argument which some have made, which is obviously the market's been down for many reasons, the Federal Reserve being one reason, but also if you go back to the Tariff Man tweet, and you see where the market was then and where it is now, some say there's a correlation. You say what?
I mean, I love the Tariff Man tweet. And actually, we've been in a trade war with China for over 20 years, and we've been hosed. We've been losing our pardon the expression, to the Chinese. And it's time that we did something about that. It is an emergency. In October, we had a record trade deficit, goods trade deficit with China, over $500 billion a year annualized. That is totally unacceptable.
It's not moving much, though, is it?
No, it's gone up. It's gone up since the president started the trade war.
I call myself a capitalist patriot. A capitalist patriot, as is President Trump. We are not going to allow ourselves to be
take some economics. Let me just interrupt you. Take some economics. Read some Henry Hazlitt, read Adam Smith, read any economist who would tell you that taxing Americans.
All of those.
That's exactly. Well, you're saying you're celebrating the Tariff Man tweet.
Adam Smith never endorsed unfettered free trade. He wanted to reduce tariffs, and he assumed that all of the countries would operate according to the same rules. China is not. Oh no, China's not operating by the rules. China is not operating by the rules. Right now, we are piling up a $500 billion a year goods trade deficit with China.
Let me jump in here for a second because we've gotten to this point, right? We had the debate back in August. We've gotten to the point. We've seen where President Trump has sort of taken this. 2019. We obviously have no idea what's going to happen there, but it seems like there's been some movement with China. The dinner at the G20, China seems to be coming toward the U.S. side in some things, IP theft, auto tariffs, etc. Jonathan, is it acceptable to you as to which way President Trump is moving this?
Yeah, there's been a lot of movement. There's been movement of Americans' dollars out of their pockets into the federal government. $50 billion so far from I know the president thinks somehow it's coming from China, Blake. It's actually coming from American consumers. It has cost American consumers $50 billion. And if you ask any economist, any CEO, what's their number one worry for 2019? It's the trade war. 94,000 jobs, according to the Tax Foundation, that have been lost. So, I hope there's some movement here, but this is a self-inflicted wound.
Not 90,000, 2 million. 2 million.
Lee, are you satisfied? Same question to you. Are you satisfied where the president has taken it at this point? And are you satisfied as to what you think 2019 will unfold like?
Well, I love the direction the president's going. China is feeling the heat. You talked about the stock market. The Dow Jones Industrials are down year-to-date 9 to 10%. The Chinese indexes are down 25%, almost three times as much as our stock market has declined. You bet I am, because we have been hosed by China. Jonathan, you're the voice of the American economic elite. I'm talking about the other 99% of America. The trade surplus that China is piling up with America is
99% of Americans.
Military. They are funding the research to
Lee,
destroy
let me just say this, Lee. You worked for President Bush. Let me just get a word in edgewise. We've heard the Trump
Jonathan, go. Respond to that. Go.
Lee, we've heard the Trump talking points. I mean, President Bush. Yeah. You worked for President Bush, I believe, somewhere along the line. The first President Bush actually tried these steel.
I worked with his nephew.
He's on your Twitter feed. I know that. The first President Bush actually tried these steel and aluminum tariffs way back in 2002. They thankfully gave them up, Blake, after a year after they saw that they were costing American consumers money and Americans jobs. This issue on tariffs has been settled. This was settled decades ago in economic history.
It was settled by China. They took advantage of a system. They have had a predatory trade system. We have lost at least 2 million well-paying jobs since China has come into the World Trade
let me ask you. Lee, let me ask you. You have no concern.
2 million well-paying American jobs. You may not care about that at your hedge fund, but the average American does care about that. Oh yes,
and here goes the class warfare. The rich hedge fund. Here goes the class warfare.
Hold on. Let me jump in here for a second. Hold on, Jonathan. Hold on. Lee, are you worried though that some prices have gone up? Simple question. Because some of this is passed on to the consumer.
We are at a very low, a record low inflation rate still in this country overall. Most of those tariff price related increases will not be passed on because we're in a brutal world economy. The producers and the importers will cut costs in other ways. And by the way, when you have more jobs and better American incomes, there is more money to buy goods and services. That's what we need. And China has got to move to a sustainable, wait a minute, China has got to move to a realistic economic model, which is that they consume most of their own products, not have a predatory trading practice with the rest of the world. What they have is unsustainable. We are borrowing $500 billion a year or selling American assets.
Has the president, let me ask you, Lee,
Jonathan, I got to get
with China.
I got to get out of here.
$500 billion.
The last
and
question.
You act like that doesn't matter. 2 million jobs doesn't matter. Yeah, it matters a lot if you're not.
Lee, we got to run real quick. But Jonathan, last question to you, since I asked Lee about concerns. Are you concerned at all whatsoever that if the president doesn't confront China, then China's practices are just going to continue with no end in sight whatsoever? 20 seconds to you to end.
China's protectionism hurts China. The reason America has always been the most successful country is that we've always been the most free. And Lee is right about one thing. China has come a great deal since the 1990s.
We've had higher tariffs for almost all of our history.
Let me just get one word.
That's what built America.
Let me get one word in here. If you don't mind, you've had your chance.
20%, 26%.
Let me just get one word in, Lee, here.
After World War II.
The reason China has improved since the 1990s is because they've liberalized their economy. They've freed up their economy. We're moving in just the opposite direction here. We were told trade wars were good, easy to win, and all the benefit has been a loss of dollars in the American jobs.
Lee, Jonathan.
They have stolen 2 million American jobs. That's why they've succeeded. And they are sucking $500 billion a year out of America every year to fund their military.
Guys,
you don't get trade.
I gotta jump in. We could probably let this go all afternoon long, but we'll have all 2019 to talk about it as well.
Listen, so you can go on for longer than that.
2 million jobs, $500 billion a year. No big deal.
Hold on. Thank you to you both. We appreciate both of your views, both of you coming in.
Always a pleasure.
I hope both of you have a happy New Year 2019. I'm sure Neil will pick this up in the new year.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.